this is Jennifer, and in this video I'm going to be sharing with you everything that I'm feeling and doing 5 weeks out from my digital nomad adventure. So I'm actually going to be reading a little bit from my notes because last time I forgot quite a few things that I wanted to put in the video, and I don't want to forget this time. So first, I just want to give a little bit of a backstory about me and how and why I am setting out on this trip right now. So I have had an online business for the past 8 years. I first launched my digital marketing business in 2016, and so I was a service-based business. I was helping my clients with their digital marketing needs, doing everything from email marketing to creating sales funnels, Facebook ads, and all of that stuff. But it was always my dream to create my own digital products. And my greatest dream was that I wanted to create a business out of my greatest passion, which is belly dancing. I've been a professional belly dance instructor and performer for 20 plus years. And I always wanted to figure out how I could turn my greatest passion into a financially profitable business. So it really took me figuring out the digital marketing piece first before I could figure out how to turn my passion into a business. And I finally figured it out. In 2019, I created and launched my first digital product, which is an online instructional course called The Belly Dance Solution that helps women strengthen their pelvic floor with belly dancing. That was my first program, and then I continued to create multiple online instructional programs around belly dancing, and I've been doing that for the past 4 years. Now I'm kind of pivoting into a different niche, but this online business has allowed me to travel the world and work literally anywhere that has an internet connection. And I have done digital nomad adventure before. In 2020, I spent the entire pandemic basically in Bali. I was there for 16 months, and while I was there, I was filming one of my online courses, my membership program called Feminine Fire. And after I was in Bali for 16 months, I was ready for a change. Once things started opening up, I went to Armenia for a month, and then I went to the Republic of Georgia for 4 months, which is a wonderful country. If you've never been there, I highly recommend it. And even before that, I had lived in other countries. I didn't have an online business at that time, but I lived in Istanbul for a few months. I lived in Tel Aviv for a few months, and I actually got a job teaching belly dance in Osaka, Japan. And I lived there for 4 months. And that was all in around 2012, 2013. So I've lived in quite a few other countries, but this trip is very different for me because I have less of a plan than I've ever had. And I'm also not planning so much to stay put in the immediate future. So, I'm starting in Albania. I'll be there for probably 4 to 6 weeks, and then I want to go to Sicily and I want to go to Bulgaria. But beyond that, I really don't have a plan, which feels really different for me, to have things so open-ended and a little bit more rootless, because I'm not planning to be in one particular place for months at a time. But the beauty of this kind of lifestyle, I call it the full latitude lifestyle, is that you can change your mind at any point. And that's what I want to help you to do through this channel, is to inspire you. And over time, I hope to provide you with resources and tools that will help you to live this kind of lifestyle as well. One of my biggest values has been freedom, and I want to help you to create that too. So let's get back to the video, and what this video is all about is I really just want to document my journey at this point and just give you a look inside what I'm feeling, what I'm doing as I prepare for this trip. And as I was reflecting on it, I realized that there's an internal and an external aspect to all of this. And if you at some point are setting out on your digital nomad journey or your expat journey or whatever it might be, you might go through these things as well. And so I just want to give voice to it. And that is when you are setting out on a journey like this, where there's a lot of entering into the unknown and uncertainty. And actually, this can happen at many stages in our life, and I would love to do an entire video on it. But there's something called the liminal space, and that space is the in-between space where you're not fully here and you're not fully there. And so it can be a really uncomfortable place to be. So I'm sitting here in my house right now, but I know that in 5 weeks' time, I'm gonna be in an entirely different country. I don't know what it's gonna be like. And so I'm in the in-between space, and that can definitely be uncomfortable. So it's a good thing to recognize it and to know there's actually a name for this in-between space, and I'm gonna be okay. And as much as possible to enjoy that experience and that process. And then the external part is all the logistics and the things that we have to do to get ready to take this kind of trip, to take this kind of adventure journey. So just kind of walk you through how I'm preparing for this trip. So I like to actually write things out on paper, and I did have ChatGPT help me to create a spreadsheet, but also just kind of brainstorm what I needed to do before I left. So I just kind of put in there, these are some of the things, like I need to sell my car, and so ChatGPT helped me to reverse engineer, okay, this is what I need to do 6 weeks out, 5 weeks out, 4 weeks out. But then, so I took those ideas, and then I also just like to write things out. It just helps me to process and think. So I started to reverse engineer it. And I thought, okay, well, there's certain things that I can only do in the week before I leave. Like sell my car, put the remaining things that I have in storage, really do that cleaning. Just side note, I'm able to leave all my stuff here pretty much, and the person that I'm renting from is going to rent my place out furnished. So that has been an incredible blessing to me to be able to leave my stuff here, but if not, then I would need to start selling all that stuff, and I would probably do that 2 weeks out. But luckily I don't have to do that, so it's just those last minute things that can really only be done in the last week before I go. And then I really just wrote out, week of December 30th through January 5th, week of January 13th through January 19th, and just wrote out the things that I would need to do in that week so that I don't feel like I'm crunched for time and feeling stressed out in the week before I leave. My vision is that I really just want to be able to enjoy that last week and not feel stressed out. So I reversed engineered it, going from, what can only be done in that last week before I leave and what things are more flexible, and just kind of go working backwards from weeks 5 from now to 4 weeks from now to 3 weeks from now, like that. That has helped me to kind of wrap my head around everything that I need to do. And then I just wanted to talk about different categories that I'm thinking of what needs to be done when you go on this kind of trip. And also from my prior experience having been a digital nomad before. So like I said, luckily I didn't have to worry about my house. I'm mostly gonna keep everything here, but otherwise you would wanna sell things. Obviously things like your bed and your couch, you would wanna sell towards the end so you could enjoy that for as much as possible. Some things you're able to get rid of sooner rather than later. My car, I'm gonna sell I leave on a Monday, so I'll probably sell my car on a Thursday or a Friday. I'll bring it to CarMax. Travel health insurance. There's a number of different options, and I'll do a future video on that once I've really fully explored this whole area. In the past, I've got just travel insurance. I don't remember the name of the company that I used before, but then there's more comprehensive plans if you know you're going to be gone for a longer amount of time. Again, I need to do more deep research on this, but my sense of it is that paying out of pocket for medical care in other countries is so much more affordable. So unless you actually live in a place and you're able to get private health insurance, if you're using one of these companies, it might just make more sense for me to get coverage for like emergencies and then pay out of pocket for the stuff where I actually need to go into the doctor, because I don't need to go into the doctor too much. So I don't have pre-existing or chronic conditions that will require me to go into a doctor's office on a regular basis. So it might make more sense for me to get emergency coverage and just pay out of pocket for medical care. But health insurance is one of those categories that I need to get sorted out before I leave. And I could get something, you can just pay month by month for a lot of these companies. And I could just do that right now and then figure the rest out when I get there. That's another option. Prescriptions, medications, supplements, anything that you take like that, I am going to get a 90-day supply of all the regular medications that I take to make sure that gives me enough time for me to figure out where I can get refills wherever I go. And then I'm also gonna have printed out prescriptions so that I could just hand that to a pharmacy or a doctor in another country to show that this is a legitimate prescription. I wear contact lenses. I just ordered contacts yesterday. But the interesting thing is that, so many things that we use on a regular basis that are a part of our budget are so much cheaper in other countries. Like when I lived in Georgia before, I was able to get contact lenses super cheap. Same thing when I lived in Bali. So I'm only getting 12 lenses right now because I know as soon as I get to Albania, I can get much cheaper contacts. Same brand, half as much. And that's just so true of so many things that we spend so much money on here in the US that you can get cheaper in other places. Changing my phone plan. So I'm gonna change my phone plan to T-Mobile because they have a really good international plan. So I'm gonna get a T-Mobile for that so that when I land anywhere, I'm just ready to go. I don't need to worry about getting a local SIM card. And I mean, of course, this whole phone, Wi-Fi, data and Wi-Fi is like a whole video on its own, but just to give you the short version. So I'm gonna get this plan so my international coverage will be really cheap. And then I have another phone that I can use that if I'm gonna be somewhere for a while, like maybe in Albania, if I think I'm gonna go over on my data or Wi-Fi or anything like that, I will just get a local SIM card and put it in the other phone and use them both. So it's really good to have two phones so that you could use one for something like a more reliable US-based company so that you can just, wherever you go, you'll have that access until you're able to get a local SIM card if you're gonna be there long enough where it makes sense to do so, because that's usually the more affordable way to go. And VPN, I already got my VPN. I got Surfshark. It looked like a really good VPN, had a really great deal. And so I now have that on my phone and on my computer. And they also have a lot of virus protection and data breach protection as well. So it looked like a really good plan. So I went with that as my VPN. I'm also gonna research having Wi-Fi backup or hotspots. So more on that later, but I'm researching that now. And also this trip, I am really going minimal on my packing. It doesn't make sense for me to bring a lot of stuff there when anywhere you go, you can shop and get clothes. So I'm only gonna be bringing the things that I really, really love, those items of clothing that I really love, and then I'm just gonna get the rest when I get there. I'm gonna pack minimal shoes right now. And I've never done this before, and I don't know why. I never thought about this, but I'm gonna get a set of packing cubes on Amazon and just keep things really organized, because for me, one of the most frustrating things about constantly living out of your suitcase is just like that thing where you're throwing stuff out to find what you need. Literally, I do not know why I never thought about this before. It's one of those weird things, right? Where you're like, how did I not think about this? So I'm just gonna get some packing cubes, and then boom, all the pants go in one thing, all the shirts go in one thing. Simple. I want to be really organized this trip. So packing as little as possible. Obviously, I want to make sure I get travel adapters and stuff like that, so I'm just ready to go. Chargers, make sure I have all that stuff. And then the last thing that I'm doing is canceling so many things, which I cannot tell you like how good that feels. Canceling my car insurance, canceling my ridiculously expensive health insurance. Like January, everything, the health plans get more expensive. I'm paying like $400 a month. And with the travel health insurance, it'll probably be like $50 a month. So excited to cancel that. Car insurance, my utilities, just random stuff. And it's gonna feel so good because all this stuff is so expensive, and it's what makes living in the US so expensive, and also why. Like, it doesn't make sense, a lot of this stuff, why it's so expensive. Like, why are contact lenses so expensive here, but they're half as much in another country? It doesn't really make sense to me why it's like we're overspending here. And gosh, I spend so much money on groceries. I am so excited to get to another country where I spend a reasonable amount on groceries, where my cost of living is doable and I don't feel like I'm hustling all the time just to get by. So I thank goodness for my notes, because I think I covered everything that I wanted to share, just to kind of give you the general categories that I'm going through in my own mind. And yeah, I will just continue to give you my updates week by week. And then just wanted to give you a sense of what I plan to do with this channel long term, and I really welcome your feedback so I can create a channel of videos that you want to see. But I want to document where I am, all the cool things about that place, the food, the people, the culture, the nature. And for me, fitness is really important to me, so I also want to cover the different fitness options if that's a big part of your life, and how can you stay fit when you're on the road. So that is it for now. If you liked this video, it really helps me a lot if you click the like button, hit subscribe, helps me to know that I'm on the right track here. And definitely leave a comment if there's something, if you have a question, or if there's something that you'd like to see in future videos. Thank you so much for being here today and watching, and I'll see you soon.